Hello and welcome back. Today we are unboxing, testing, and reviewing the new Emalla Ink Dot Thermal Transfer Machine. AKA this is a Bluetooth wireless thermal printer for your tattoo stencils. As you may know, I have been using an Emalla tattoo pen machine for the past few months and I absolutely love it. Really anything from Emalla thus far has been quality, and I would recommend basically anything from this brand. So it does come in a nice little carrying case, which is great. This is definitely the type of printer you would be taking to a convention or to travel, because look how small this printer is. So out of the box you get the carrying case, you do get a charging cable to charge the printer, as well as you get the printer. And it looks very similar to mostly all of the Bluetooth printers that are like this size, this style. But I will say that it is heavy. It feels like it's built very well. Obviously, you will also get a user manual, but we know how to use these printers. So I don't think we're going to use the manual too much, except we do need to see which application you do need to download. Looks like it's called ePrinter. So you will need to download their printer app. It is called ePrinter. Now, one important thing to note, these are A4 transfer paper, thermal paper sheets, which means they're 8.27 by 12. That's the size. These are not 8.5 by 11s. So if you do purchase this, make sure that you have thermal paper that is size A4. It's also worth mentioning that just like all of the thermal printers I have used, any of these printers that are Bluetooth, you do need to remove the onion layer from your thermal paper. So we will grab ourselves one piece of thermal paper, and the onion layer is the second layer of paper in here. So you'll just want to remove this sheet entirely, and you will need to remove the yellow sheet on the back. Actually tear it away completely from the thermal paper. And to load the paper into the printer, super simple. There are two buttons that you push on the side here to open, just like such. Once it's loaded, you just want to go ahead and put your paper purple side down and just load it into the machine. Just make sure that it's straight. You don't want it crooked or anything like that. But this is basically it. You just lay the paper in here and snap the machine lid closed. The power button is right here, pretty simple. Press and hold until the printer turns on. Now the paper is loaded and the printer is on. So from here we need to grab our iPad or whatever we're printing from. Okay, so we have our iPad. All we need to do is go into the App Store and search ePrinter. Okay, now once we have the app, we just want to open the app, and you're going to want to, it's already connected to the printer because I've already connected it, but all you would do is follow the instruction manual, you hit the plus icon, and you just sync to this printer from your iPad or your phone or whatever you're printing from. Now the next step is to select the type of paper that you're going to use. And because we already discussed we are using a single sheet of A4, that's what we will select. Once you have selected your paper, you hit selected. From here you go into tattoo editing and you just want to find your design. To do that, obviously you need to share your design. So in Procreate, you want to go find your design. Once you have your design in Procreate, you just want to share. I'm going to share as a JPEG because why not? And save the image to your camera roll. Okay, from here we're going to go back into the printer app. We are going to select our design. Once we've selected it, hit done. And from here you can add images, replace, size and edit. You can also tattoo preview parts of the body. So there's useful things you can use within the app. But regardless, it's fairly simple. Save the image out of Procreate, open it within the printer app, and then all you have to do is hit print. So in the bottom there is an anti-wrinkle setting, which I have on strong, which is great. No other printers have had any sort of anti-wrinkle anything, and the other Bluetooth printers I used did wrinkle and they did jam up in there when it was trying to print. I've also put the print density on heavy because why not have the stencil as dark as possible? And so from here, all we need to do is hit print. Okay, wow, that printed extremely smooth, way smoother than any other Bluetooth I've used like this. Like I said, the other Bluetooth printers, I had to sit and pull the stencil paper and try to pull it evenly and apply pressure through pulling, or it would jam in here. It would get all stuck, it would jam, the paper would wrinkle up, and it would just ruin the stencil. So I've had no luck with these printers, but this is a totally different game. That was super smooth and it printed great. This paper from Emalla is also seemingly great. Like, this was great. One other thing to keep in mind with these particular stencil printers is you do have to use a full thermal sheet. So what I would recommend is, if you are practicing on fake skins and stuff, put multiple designs on here. So when you print it out, you get 3, 4 designs on one thermal sheet, because once this is cut, I'm pretty certain you can't load these into the machine without it being a full sheet. So you couldn't just cut this corner, load just the corner in, and then adjust the design on your iPad to just print in that corner of the sheet. So you will just want to keep that in mind so that you're not wasting thermal paper. But let's peel this apart and see how the stencil looks, because just because it looks good like this doesn't mean that we're in the clear just yet. I will also link this printer and everything else that I'm using in this video down in the description, likely in my Linktree, but this is what I mean. We're kind of wasting a lot of stencil paper here. You know what? While we're on this subject, I have an idea. Let's do a test and see if we can run just a small piece through the printer. Sometimes there will be sensors in here that won't take the paper if it's not a full sheet. So we're just going to put in a small one. Let's imagine we're printing a very small design. So I'm just going to load a small amount in here and see if it will still print from the iPad. Because if it does, then you, in theory, could position your design in the small upper corner here, or whatever side you've loaded your stencil paper in. And if it will recognize that this small sheet's in here and it will take it and print, then in theory, you're actually not wasting thermal paper with this printer. So let's print it and see if it even prints, if it works. Okay, exactly. Printer is out of paper. Please reinstall the paper roll correctly, okay? That is because there is a sensor within these printers that unless you put a full sheet in, it will not allow you to print. So what happens is you end up wasting thermal paper. Unless you're going to hand trace this or something, this piece is now trash because this will not work without a full sheet of thermal paper. So good to know. Glad that we did that test so that we're on the same page with that. But this stencil looks phenomenal. This printer obviously works very well, especially in comparison to any other Bluetooth printer that I have used. So let's get this design on some fake skin and just do this full circle all the way to the end, put this on some fake skin and see how it applies. Okay, we have our fake skin here. This is from Real Skin, REELSKIN, and we are cleaning it with rubbing alcohol. This is what I do to all of my fake skins before I put on any stencils. The rubbing alcohol removes any impurities, dust, oil, anything like that that's going to hinder the stencil from sticking. And if you're like me and you have cats and stuff, it'll also get the cat hairs off there. And once we have it cleaned, we just want the alcohol to fully dry, so I usually just wait a minute before I apply the stencil. And as always, we are using Speed Stick. Speed Stick just works too good on fake skins for transferring stencils. Any of the tattoo stencil gels or anything like stencil stuff just doesn't work on fake skins. Find where we want to put it, let it rest, apply even pressure throughout, and if you want, you can take a paper towel and use it to help apply the pressure. And one thing about Real Skins and any stencil, it doesn't matter what the stencil printer is, where the stencil came from, they are going to appear lighter on this brand of fake skin, just like that. That's just how these fake skins work. They're never super dark. This is as dark as you're really going to get them. And the problem I've found is to get it any darker, you would need to use excessive amounts of your Speed Stick. And then what happens is the stencil will bleed as it's drying. All the lines will expand. So this looks great. I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm very, very pleased with this printer from Emalla. This will definitely be in the studio, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna use this more often than not, considering I do have an entire pack of thermal paper from Emalla. So if you wanna check this printer out, it is linked in my Linktree down below.